again, I got these clips from Mr. Lynn Freeman on the Real Talk Files. You go ahead, check them out if you like. I used to work with him. We don't now. I don't work with him now, but I do have to say, I like these clips. Right, it's a couple of clips from one Mr. Kenneth Marks. He's already in counsel, and Ms. Ingrid Holmes. They was on the show, and from what I've listened, I've had some disturbing type of comments come from to me, right? When I go through, I'm always listening to them. Like, first I'm going to start with Mr. Marks, right? Now, this is not to bash Mr. Marks or anything. This is just for a learning experience I want to kind of bring out there, right? Mr. Marks is already elected to council. Nothing on here can actually hurt him or anything. But a lot of people don't really understand what it takes to be an actual council member, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put this first clip on the line. Now, this is going to be your first time hearing it, Mr. Lewis. I know it's going to be your first time hearing it. And this is his kind of, this is an event where somebody gives him a call in the morning, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and listen. This is kind of a quick one.
Okay.
And I expressed to that group that, yes, I will be willing, because it's my responsibility as an elected official to be responsive to the needs and the questions of the citizens. But I did qualify that now. I qualified it by saying that it needs to be reasonable. You can't call me at 2:30 in the morning, and expect that I'm gonna respond.
You understand that as citizens, you understand
right.
That. But what I'm saying is, to being accessible, when I use the word accessible, is that, when you see me.
Now, that was a quick one. Now tell me, do people call you in the morning? Well, I know they have. Give me some hints about some people calling you in the middle of the night if you've had that.
Oh, I've had calls. I get calls all hours of the night. Somebody had to get up out of my bed and go and see about them. For example, years ago, a young man called me after 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I listened to the young man, and I said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm at home." So my wife, I said, "Look," and your wife is a part of all of this.
Right.
Yeah, okay. And so I said, "Come go with me." You feel like getting up? She got up 2 o'clock in the morning. We are sitting down with this young man, knots all on his head, been beat up by the police department.
Wow.
This is like 30 years ago.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out what happened. I said, "Tell me what happened." He explained to me what happened. I listened to that. I said, the backup policeman came and all of them jumped on. He said, "Yes." I said, "Tell me what happened." That was a drug place right there on Savannah and Neyland Avenue.
Right.
At that neighborhood cafe. They used to run lunches in and out of the plants, and they were selling drugs and stuff in the lunches.
Okay, right.
But matter of fact, I got calls from the neighbor. They was complaining about that place. But he just happened to stop by there. But I didn't think of it at the time. The young man just happened to stop by there, and we was hiring firemen, and he was going to take the fireman's test. But man, he ended up being charged with assault on a policeman.
Wow.
He stops by there looking for a friend. He just had gotten off work at St. Mary's Hospital late that night. He stopped by St. Mary's Hospital. He stopped by that place getting off work at St. Mary's Hospital. And he walks outside, and the undercover cop tell him, "Get upside the wall." We had everybody line up. He said, "Why?" He said, "Because I say so. I'm a policeman." He said, "Show me some identification." The young man asked for some identification.
Right, yeah.
And the undercover policeman did not do it. Didn't show.
Oh, undercover. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he said, "Well, you say you're a policeman. Show me some identification."
Right. Yeah.
You said you with a T-shirt on and a pair of jeans, and you telling me you a cop. Show me your identification. Show me your badge.
Right.
Oh, man, guess what? They had already called the backup. The backup was on the way because they had all these people lined up. It was a hot spot for drugs, okay?
Right, yeah.
They had busted about 150 people over there.
And they could have turned out bad because you have undercover doing this, right?
Right.
He's not in no uniform or anything.
No uniform, but this young man was innocent. He just stopped by.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm a cop." So, and Well, the next thing he know, the other undercover agent called him. So he leaves this undercover agent and walks back and talk to the other undercover person. Well, when he turned his back, talking to on the original undercover guy, when he turned his back and talking to the other undercover guy, guess what happened?
What happened?
When the backups come, just before the backup comes from both sides into the parking lot, the first undercover guy go jump on his back. Well, guess what? I had that young man to tell me that story 2 or 3 times. I said, I know what they did. I said, I'll tell you what they did. This is what I want you to do. Yeah. So I had him come to see George DeBrell and file a complaint against the police department. George DeBrell, city manager.
Right.
So they no building. I mean, well, no, they said the police didn't do anything wrong. Internal affairs didn't find any problem. Well, watch what happens.
Right.
So the city manager at the time called me and said, well, they couldn't find anything. The police department did anything wrong. And I said, he's still charged with aggravated assault on police? He said, yes. I said, send him to the grand jury. He said, you want me? I said, send him to the convene the grand jury. See, you got to know these things.
Yeah.
I said, convene the grand jury and send him to the grand jury. He said, okay, I'll do it, Councilman. I said, send him to the grand jury. I told him, I said, do not change. Tell the story just like I figured it out.
Yeah.
Don't change nothing. He went and told to the grand jury what happened to him. They set him up. They no building. He came back to me. I said, he said, they no build me. I said, good. He said, what should I do? I said, go. I said, you got a lawyer? He said, no.
Okay, so the no bill mean that the guy got off from beating up the cop, right?
Yeah, they assault.
Assault.
He did not assault any police officer.
Right.
They assaulted him.
Right.
Now watch what happens. So the attorney called me. It was and he's passed away. Terry Dawes, Danny Dahl.
Okay. Yeah.
I said,
Go
go see Danny Dahl. Not Terry.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I said, go see Danny Dahl. He's a good attorney. You know, he fights his police case. So he's very good at it. Until Danny Dahl called me. Danny Dahl called me and I explained some things to Danny Dahl. He said, you really think that the police department really did that? I said, yes. I said, that's kind of strange. I said, well, if the police department, if everybody in the police department was perfect, then we could save a lot of money. We wouldn't need internal affairs.
There you go.
I said, you got to understand, internal affairs is for policing the police.
Right, corruption, yeah.
Okay, they no building. And I explained it to Danny Dahl, and guess what?
What was it?
Went to court, and they won.
Okay. Oh.
Yes.
So you got a nice settlement out of it.
We paid that young man $40,000 or $50,000.
Wow.
Sure did. But if I hadn't figured it out, if I didn't have the skills and knowledge to figure out what they did, he'd probably be in prison today.
So you can't have the mind frame like, hey, don't call me at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't call me at night.
When I finished, it was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock by the time I got back in the house. I had to go to work.
Right. And so I don't think a lot of people that's actually coming into this really know what this game is about, right?
It's not a game.
You're right, it's not a game.
It's not a game.
You have to be here for people. It's not no 9 to 5.
Right.
3 hours a day. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get to other clips, right?
Go ahead.
Right. Now the other clip I have up here is also from the same guy. Mm-hmm. And he's on here talking about somebody contacted him Friday and he couldn't get an answer from Monday because city was closed. Let me go ahead and let you listen to this.
Let me listen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
For instance, Friday night, this past Friday night, the day after holiday,
who's this talking?
when everything shut
Kenneth Marks.
down.
Okay.
I received a message via inbox or messenger on Facebook, and I didn't respond then because I couldn't get the answer I needed from city. It's shut down. It's a holiday. Nobody's there. So I couldn't get the answer. So I got the answer this morning, and I will be responding to that person this afternoon. I mean, first thing this morning. And that's why I'm saying reasonable. I couldn't get the answer that I needed. I could have called somebody else over the weekend, but it was not an emergency type situation. It was something that I felt like, in my judgment, could wait until this morning, and so I waited until this morning, and I will respond as soon as we finish up here, but I'm hesitant, and I probably will not respond to too many Facebook messages right now while I don't have a public, not a graph. No, I know how to get information.
Right.
I'm talking about I don't have a publicly issued phone or email.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the way I would prefer that my constituents communicate with me, unless they see me out in the public and they can come up to me and ask me a question. You can, but email and phone, you call me because you'll be able to leave a message and I'll be able to respond. But my personal phone, my personal email, my personal inbox, because I don't normally, that's personal. So but right now I will accept that and I'll respond. But once I get that publicly issued, those publicly issued tools, then I will expect that my constituents will respect that those boundaries and come to me through the publicly issued.
Okay, and I want to expound on this for this reason. The reason why I'm
Okay, he handled that properly. He has not even been in office, and he don't have any communication equipment.
Right.
He don't have the tax bills sponsor you a car allowance. He hadn't gotten any of that stuff. The telephone, the computers, yeah. He handled that properly.
Okay, so you think
that's
he
well
handled it
well within the boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was
And what I like about it, and I was listening closely, it was not an emergency.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. What the issue I was having with him, right? Because he got a call Friday night. He didn't call nobody addressing it over the weekend. The city was down. And then that Monday morning, he went on the show first he got the answer to the issue in the morning when City Hall opened.
Right.
Went on the show first, and then he said he was going to go back to that citizen after the show. So I was like, first off, most of the council members I talked to, they have the city manager's cell phone number.
Well, that's what I was, yeah.
Right, a lot of times.
But
go ahead.
I heard that.
Right.
But I didn't say anything because he said it was not an emergency.
Right.
It was not an emergency.
And
so because you can call the city manager 24 hours.
Yeah.
I wake them up all the time.
Now, just to play devil's advocate on that, a lot of people may not think something's emergency unless it's happening to them. Remember, citizens, when they call you, it's an emergency to them a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to talk to them and find out.
Right.
And establish with their citizens, is this something like we need to handle right now?
Right.
Or is this something that can wait in the morning? And it sounds like to me that's the way he handled it.
Right, okay, right.
No, if that was an emergency, he would have had to deal with it.
Right, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. But I would say, normally my thing on that, a seasoned person probably would have got that answer quicker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a season, that's the main thing I was getting on that.
Would have.
I thought it was a fair handle it.
Yeah.
I thought it was an average way to handle a call being new.
Right.
But you always want to get people's questions out as soon as possible, right? And especially like if you got the answer in the morning, I would have probably gave it to them that soon instead of waiting, going on the show,
right,
then getting to the citizen after the show. So, it's understandable, but that's how I kind of looked at it.
He was reasonable.
Yeah, being new. Yeah. But the main point out of that, if you're a seasoned person that knows the government.
That's a different, when you know, you'd have cut through the chase.
That's the main point that I'm getting at.
Right.
That's the main point that I'm getting at. When you don't want experience and you want a lot of new people with a new unproven ideas, these are some of the things that you get. You get a delay on that.
Right.
Now, go ahead. That's another situation. Somebody comes over this house in the morning and asks a question. I'm going to let you listen to this also.
Okay.
For Mr. Kenneth Marks also.
But what we're talking about is, okay, this morning a doorbell rang. Okay,
At your house?
at my house. It's 7:45.
Yeah.
And it's one of my constituents. He happens to be a neighbor. He happens to be a brother knight and everything. But he comes and he asked me a question about something. It's before City Hall opens. I said, well, I can't answer that right now, but as soon as they open and I can get a hold of now I don't even know which department. I didn't know which department, so I said my employee, because I don't go to as a city council person. The only employee that I'm actually supposed to be contacting is the city manager when I have a question. But I imagine within reason you can talk to other folks. But so what did I do? The protocol is call the city manager. So when I finished talking to that person, I got on the phone and I called the city manager. And he told me this morning, he said, okay, well, this is the person that person needs to talk to. And I'm going to text you the name and the phone number. And so that's what happened. And I immediately called that person, came and asked me what they needed to know. And so I satisfied his request like that. Quickly. And I think that's how we want to try to do things, but sometimes it's going to take longer than that, because it's going to be a little bit more complicated than that. And so, but as a city council person, we should expect to be responsive to the questions and the needs of our constituents.
I agree with that.
Okay?
And then I think what you're saying, one of the key things of that too is if they ask you a question, you're going to say, well, this is something I can make a phone call and take care of and get back with you immediately, or this is going to take some research
right,
to get the information, and it might be a couple of days.
It might be a couple of days. Yeah.
But you're going to let them know the status of where you at and looking at researching their problem.
And citizens have to understand that, yes, you come to your city council person, but keep in mind, now those numbers may have changed, but when the precincts or the districts were drawn up back after the 2010 census, they were drawn up with an even number or a like number of registered voters in each precinct, and it turned out to be pretty close to 7,500 registered voters in each precinct. Each district. Population. So every last one of those 7,500 people in District 4 has a right to call me when they have a question about something going on with the city, with an issue. So just keep in mind the thing that there are going to be a large number of people who are going to be asking the city council person for information and to take care of issues for them. So it's not going to be, don't get bent out of shape when it takes a little while to get some things done or to get some questions answered, because some questions are going to be answered quickly, fairly quickly. Some issues are going to be taken care of and resolved fairly quickly. But some are going to take some time. It's going to take some research. It's going to take, it's going to take some work to get it done. And we just, as a new city council person, and I'm starting right out the chute. I'm saying I'm going to respond, but it's going to be in a reasonable manner, and it's going to be respectful not only of the citizen that's asking the question or raising the issue, but it's going to be respectful of the people on the other side who have to provide the answers and the information.
So on that one, from the initial question, it seemed like that was just basic city knowledge, because somebody called him. He had to call the city manager. The city manager told him the person in the department to go to. Pretty much, what was your analysis of that call? And my opinion is, right, if he had more knowledge, he could have easily gave the information off to the citizen about what department, especially because that's what it seemed like, a department issue, because the city manager told him to call the department.
I'm saying, being new,
Right.
his best, he handled that properly, worked through the city manager because he doesn't know.
Right.
Okay, what I normally do, and I call that department head or that person that's
In that department.
in that department, tell them I need a report on this, I need X, Y, and Z, okay?
Right.
When you produce the paperwork and whatever it is, when you produce it, get the information, forward it to your boss. That's the city manager.
Right.
So I get the work done, so the city manager don't have to go chase. He's already tied up, got enough on his plate.
Right.
Okay, so city managers in the past has always wanted a council to work through them.
Yeah.
But guess what? Now, Mike Dougal and all other city managers, I told them I don't function that way.
Right.
I said, but what I'll tell you, what I will do, nobody releases anything to me without you releasing it.
Okay.
Well, I said, now the reason I do it this way, because managers in the past, I've had so many issues with citizens, and they get so bogged down handling my stuff. They come back to me and say, go ahead on call, go back to calling the department heads.
Right.
And see, man, keep them from getting in trouble. I say, when you compile my data, get what I want, forward it to the city manager.
Right.
So that gives the city manager knowledge of it. Now it looks awful foolish. You come up with something that a staff person that worked for the city manager produced this data and all this documentation,
Right.
and his boss didn't know about it. I'd be up if I was city manager. I'd be pretty upset.
Right. So.
But I always protect them.
Right.
This is what I want. Release it through the city. Send it to the city manager. Don't release it to me.
Right.
So it keeps him out of trouble.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is that through your knowledge and experience, city managers be tied down, bogged down. Their normally priority is the staff and what their immediate job is.
Right.
Your priority being elected official is the citizens. And to kind of work a middle way through that, you can kind of sometimes go through the department head. Hey, this is Mr. Lewis. I need you to do this, and this for this citizen. But whenever, have this paperwork on this job you're about to do, forward that over to the city manager and give it to him so he can report it to me. So, the city manager be in the loop, but I'm calling you right now because the city manager is tied up. Right. He done forgot about it or something. The citizens on my behind. City manager tied up, so I'm kind of helping them out, but still keeping them in the loop.
Keep the city manager
in the loop of putting it over. But if they don't know that,
if you don't know that,
you'll be
2 weeks.
You'll be 2 weeks calling the city manager about this thing. The city manager's human,
and following it up.
And if you have 5 new council members, there's a whole bunch of people asking them different questions. It feels like the city manager is going to be the
now you're stressing
the council member. Yeah. It's like the city manager have to play dual roles, the council member and his role. That's because of the inexperience, lack of knowledge by the council.
Right.
So you need to be careful of what you're asking for because you thinking there's going to be some great renovative thing. You have to understand the city is an important business, man.
Right.
You can't be bullcorning around this. You can't just get dummies running this thing.
And the city manager is dealing with his day-to-day operation.
Yeah.
And got 600 to 800 employees
that
he's dealing with. And some of them, they got issues too.
And say, for instance, like Blue Bonnet. You may need a city manager need to be on that for a while. Be focusing on getting that taken care
Blue
of.
Blue Bonnet was an issue for a long time.
Right. So the city manager, he getting chewed out by the
it was down a whole year or two.
Right.
Yeah.
So city manager getting chewed out. Then you have a new city manager coming in, accepting the problems. He have to learn. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. The council needs to be on it.
Council member can do some of these, research some of this stuff himself.
Right.
Let me give an example.
Go ahead.
About researching stuff myself. Lewis Manor. And that's one of my platforms. That's one of the things as an elected official. If you're running for office, it's not enough to say the right person at the right time.
Right.
Vote for the right person at the right
Right,
time.
right.
Those little catchy things. They
Yeah,
may
they're slogans,
work.
yeah.
They're slogans.
It's cute,
They're
it's cute.
fine. They're cute, fine, but that's not a plan.
Right.
You see, look at I got a plan.
Right. What
I
the right
gotta-
person going to do at the right time?
I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
But this-
Then someone over there 8 was the one who got integrity.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
on there. I'm honest and and I got
Frank, huh?
integrity. Yeah. I got integrity. You know. And
yeah.
one of the things that why we mentioned Pastor Frank, you know, I ran against Pastor. I may have mentioned this before. Pastor, friend of mine, I recruited him for council.
Right.
Pastor Chapman.
Yeah.
And so Councilman Scott unseated him from District 1. So District 5 came open, okay? So I ran for District 5. He also ran. But I had relatives to tell me, you know, back with the Bay, that's, you know, man, you're a good man and everything, but that's my nephew, that's my cousin. I said, okay. I said, he's a pastor, right? He said, yes, he's been a pastor. I said, don't you think that's what he ought to be doing?
Right.
You called to be a pastor. That's what I told Donald Frank that. I said, Donald, you called to be a pastor. What are you doing over here in politics? You need to be, when the shepherd's away, the wolves will eat the sheep. I said, if you called to be a pastor, that's what you need to be doing. And you know, when I told that, and Pastor Chapman, a good man, and the Lord blessed him, okay?
Right.
Because as soon as he left the council, I wanted to see. And man, he came into a business that he was able to take over, you know, and it was doing real good. Yeah. But the point I wanted to make, and his relatives say, you know, when I mention it, he's a pastor, don't y'all think that's what he ought to be? You know what they say?
What they say?
I never thought about that. You provoke people to thinking. I said, yeah, he is a pastor, and you're right. That's what he ought to be doing.
Yeah, we definitely need to do a lot of thinking. As we as citizens, we definitely need to do a lot of thinking.
Yeah, and some rethinking.
Electing these people.
Right.
Now, the next one.
Now, you see, the school board don't pay.
Right, yeah.
The city pay.
Right.
Okay? So you do with that. And a lot of them over there on that council just subsidize the income.
Yeah.
And I've told them that, you know, I don't pull in the punches about that. And to ask them to sit down and write down what they have initiated since they've been on council.
What have they initiated? What they initiated like last time was that what that person brings to the council.
That's what,
like say,
what
hey.
the initiation and what it brings to council.
Right. Okay.
And some of them like say, man, you don't ever say we. I say, how did that item get on the agenda?
Yeah.
Did we put it on that? No. I said, how did it get there?
Right.
Well, you put it on. That's what I initiated. That's my agenda item.
And as a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, because when we get into Mrs. Holmes' words, she has something on there about she can't do nothing without the council. I'm glad you said it, because that goes into a little bit later. A lot of people hide behind the council. Well, we have to, all the council have to agree to this. We can't do it. It's a lot of things you can do
it's a lot of things you can
as
do.
a council person yourself.
Listen to a couple of them. Okay, let's deal with. I got a phone call late one night. Castro, I forget Castro's first name. He was a kid in college. He observed. He was working on longshoreman. He observed some kids in a cage, hot.
Wow.
Observed some kids in a cage. There were stowaways, and they had these kids in this hot cage. Okay.
Yeah.
And I found out the NAACP. I'm a councilman. I found out the NAACP been there, and they wouldn't let them on. Wouldn't let the NAACP on there. Some
on the
other
boat, yeah.
citizens went over there to try to get access to those kids, and they wouldn't. The captain wouldn't let them on the boat. But you know, when Castro called me and told me about the kid, I said, wait a minute. I went to the city manager. I said, city manager, don't the health department have police? I told him about the situation.
Yeah.
I said, don't the health department have police power? He said, yes, they do. I said, I'll tell you what I want you to do. Get she was the health department, Miss, what's her name? She was the health director before this lady.
Okay,
I can't think of her name right now.
I don't know.
But she was the health director. And Nice Wade.
Okay.
I said, don't. And she said, yes. I said, well, go down there and get them. I told him, I gave the city manager instructions, and council never got involved. They didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I said, go down there and get Nurse Wade and tell her to stop by the police department and pick up a couple of cops.
Right.
Okay? Now, I want her to go on that ship. I want her to go on that ship and check those kids out. Get access to those kids. I said, now, I'm telling her, go get a couple of cops. Take a couple of cops. I said, that captain messing with her, I want that captain arrested. He ain't have no trouble.
Right.
And then didn't have no trouble. Yeah. Got the kids, she checked the kids out, got them out of there, and got in touch with the council, whatever country they was from, and sent the kids back home. But that didn't come to the council. Well, I got another one for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a phone call from a longshoreman about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Another late night call that you can expect to get.
Councilman, a ship was put out of the port in Beaumont. I said, well, why? Well, you ever heard of Texas City? I said, yeah, it blew up. He said, they got dynamite and blasting caps on the same boat. I said, you can't do that.
But yeah.
I said, well, why are you calling me? He said, well, they're here in the port of Port Arthur. I said, what? They're here? He said, yeah. I said, wait a minute, get me the number of that ship. This was a guy with longshoreman. He was over Union. I said, get me the number of the ship.
Right, the ship number. The actual number that's on the ship, they can identify the ship, right?
Get me that number and call me back. He did that. And he called me back. I'm still dealing with 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So I called the fire chief. I woke him up.
Right, fire chief.
Chief Bombay, Chief Bombay.
Okay.
I woke Chief Bombay up, and I said, Chief Bombay, this is a situation we got here. We got a dangerous situation. I said, we got blasting caps and dynamite on the same ship, and they're not supposed to be on the same ship. And he said, what? I said, you remember Texas? He said, yeah, that's what blew up Texas City. I said, nah, this is the number. See, I collected all this information. I said, this is the number of the ship. Go out there, and this 3 o'clock, and find out, is this... He went out there and he called me back. I'm on the ship right now, and I'm ordering them out of here right now. And they had a bad steering.
Bad steering?
They couldn't control the darn thing.
Oh, so it could have eased.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
And I said, now I want to report to the city council Monday morning when the next council meeting. So he prepared a report, and he told the whole story. He got him out of there, man. But it didn't take no action from the council.
So
I got one more for you.
So tell me something on this. Right. If they would have called a person that didn't know, the person that didn't know to say call the cops, what would the cops would have done?
What, call the cops on who?
The boat.
No, they couldn't have done that.
Right.
They wouldn't know what to do. I knew what to do.
So you have all these.
The cops could. What the cops gonna do? You call the fire department.
The fire department over that stuff,
So
right?
blow up.
Right, blow up. Fire hazmat, all that,
hazmat.
Fire explosion, hazmat, right?
Right. I went through the fire department.
So you have to know these different departments. You call the city manager. Well, you probably didn't even call the
city manager. I didn't bother city manager.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
called the fire department.
No, I was listening to that clip. You probably would have called the city. I don't know what it is. They probably called the cops.
I got one more for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I had the Golden Eagle restaurant for chicken. You know, you probably ate some of my chicken too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for years.
Oh, yeah.
I walk in, I'm looking at one of my employees.
And Golden Eagle, right?
Yeah, Golden
Okay,
Eagle.
you're right.
I'm looking at one of my employees, had a sad look on her face.
Good chicken, that.
Yeah, man, yeah. So I asked her, I said, what's the matter? Something wrong? She said, yes. I said, what's wrong? She said, my daughter is overseas in the military. I said, okay. Her ex-husband, she and her husband separated, and he's abusing her and assaulting her anytime he get ready. I said, what? I said, have you been to the company commander? She said, yeah. She been to the company commander. And I said, the company commander won't do nothing about it? She said, no. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Let me do something. I made a couple of phone calls. I called Nick Lampson. Now,
Tricky Nick.
Generals and everybody else, they get their promotions through Congress.
Oh.
That's why I call Nick Lampson.
Okay,
That's how I know that's the connection.
Okay.
So you know.
But also not many people in the military actually know that.
No,
you know what I mean?
that's right.
People in the military don't know that. A lot of officers or just people in general?
No, not the officer, but the general.
Okay.
The general.
Okay. Right.
They are big promotions.
Yeah. Okay. The general.
Through
Congress. Gotcha. Yeah, because they normally speak with Congress on different. Right.
That's why they would get to shaking in their boots when you get to abusing a young trooper or something like that.
Yeah.
And he don't like it. He said, "I'm gonna call my congressman."
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So instead of going to the higher up, you nip it in the bud. Go to the congressman. Have him talk to the general
So I know how this stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So
General
what
get this stuff
happened?
done.
And look here, he said when I called, Nick Lamson called me back and said, "Have her call me." And I got them hooked up together.
Right.
Look here, that company commander got him reprimanded
Ooh,
when I
baby.
finished with him, and never brought it to no council.
Right. That's something.
Council don't even know to this day what I did.
Right. So that's something through the knowledge.
The knowledge, yeah.
That you knew
Yeah.
that you can help your citizen,
Right.
your District 1 citizen, or whatever district you was running in back then. But that's a lot of things I like to bring to you. You need a person with the experience, with people experience, that knows a vast stuff of it. This is why Mr. Lewis is so valuable, and you need to really make a decision on the type of persons you want. Some person that just lick to the ground, like Mr. Marks was saying, just knowing or whatnot. So just like Miss Holmes, don't have any understanding or just learning. So it's up to you. Let's go back
Now
to
watch
this
this.
other. Go ahead.
I got one more for
Go
you.
ahead on.
A lot of kids could not qualify for scholarships, or they could not get a grant, a Pell Grant. They couldn't get a Pell Grant because their mom and daddy made a few dollars too much,
Right.
but they was too poor to send them to college. You know what I did?
What you did?
I took CDBG money and give scholarships to Lamar University.
Wow.
Now watch this. I kept checking on it to find out that when it's going to be approved. So about a month, 1 month passed, 2 months passed, and
For the money, right?
yeah, for the
CDBG funds
HUD to approve it. HUD has to approve
HUD
it.
approve. Okay,
It had to
right.
go to Washington to get it approved.
So you didn't misappropriate any kind of funds.
No.
You got the actual approval. Had HUD approve the money to use CDBG funds
Right.
to go ahead and use it for the citizens.
But watch out. They had, after a couple of months, they had not approved it.
Right.
So I told the director of that department, Jack Treaser, I said, find out what's going on. He come back. You know what he told me?
What do you say?
He said, it's an eligible item. I said, I know it's eligible
Right.
because it's low to moderate income.
Yeah.
You can spend that money
Right.
on low to moderate income people. And he said, I said, well, why haven't they approved it? And he said, the HUD people say the only reason they hadn't approved it, no, it has never been done. It had nowhere in the United States have CDBG monies have been used to pay kids scholarship. If they couldn't qualify for a Pell Grant, they're making too much money. So the ones that couldn't qualify for a Pell Grant, that's how I wrote the program.
Right.
Then CDBG money kicked in and give them a scholarship. And look here. And I told the director, I said, I don't care what. I'm not concerned about having it been done in the United States anymore, okay?
Right.
I want it done. It's an eligible item.
And
And they did it.
So it's an eligible item, right? So that's something that the CDBG money could be used for, right?
Yeah.
And just because it hasn't been done before,
Sangamon District. We did Sangamon District for Port Arthur.
Yeah.
It had never been done before.
Right,
I mean,
right. Okay, yeah.
we did that. And
Right,
guess what? Once we did it, guess what?
Starts being the norm.
Marty Myers and them, Beaumont, volunteered because we put Jefferson County on trial.
Right.
Because they was historically discriminated against blacks
Right.
and other minorities. So
Right.
they avoided the lawsuit. And about 3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe longer than that, I got a phone call from City of Orange. City of Orange. I went over there and the NAACP called me and some other citizen called me because they read about the anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. And they called me up and asked me to come over and train them how to get Sangamon District for Orange, Texas.
Yeah. Ooh.
I went over there, trained them, NAACP trained them.
Yeah.
Guess what? They went and presented my plan. I told them, I said, I'm not getting involved. I'm going to train y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah, you already did it.
Y'all do it.
Right. They have to put the
It has
legwork
to come
in.
from the user.
The ground source, the people.
And they,
yeah.
when Mr. Hawthorne, them, and the NAACP, they all went, and Mr. Lowe, they all went before the city council in Orange, Texas, and presented. They accepted it. And guess what?
Yeah.
I got kicked out the NAACP here. Kermit Morrison got kicked out.
And Stella Morrison.
Stella Morrison got kicked out. Vanessa Baptiste got kicked out.
Right.
And Mrs. Geraldine Hunt. We was all councilmen. She got kicked out.
Yeah.
Because we was pushing for the. Yeah, they didn't join us for the Voting Rights Act. They worked against us for the Voting Rights Act.
So that's important. Let me stop you right there. Again, you have black organizations, black individuals, black council member. It's a whole plethora of sellout Uncle Toms that do nothing but undermine black people trying to fight for civil rights for black people and minority. Go ahead.
I got from Orange, the NAACP in Orange, Texas gave me a state. I got kicked out. I think I got put out. The NAACP kicked me out. I got a statewide placard from the NAACP from Orange, Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
For helping them.
For helping them get Sangamon District. And they done had all kind of blacks on the council now, and mayors. Yeah.
Yeah, blacks and mayors. Yeah.
But, you know.
That all goes through the knowledge. You have to, you have to take this thing seriously, man. You can't just get people, just like Mr. Marks had said in the interview or whatnot. You can't, he got picked to go on here. He got selected. They asked him to come on here. Man, look, you have to have a undenying passion for this stuff, man. You have to have a knowledge to want to learn before you step your foot into this, man, because it's so important. But a lot of people, we get caught in the sloganism and all these, hey, we need a new person with new ideas. But if a new person, it can have all the ideas in the world. I want to make this like New York, but if you don't have no plan, you don't have no clue on how to do it.
One of the things, and I probably said this before,
right?
From RTs up until this mayor, when we got none of them had a plan.
Right.
They ran for office. None of them had a platform.
And we voted for them.
And
we paying the price now. We paying the price.
Oh, I got another one for you.
Hold on. Let's kind of get back on that.
Now, don't forget, at some point in time, maybe not this interview, I want to talk about that $15 million that the city borrowed.
Okay, the loan from industry.
And they called it advance.
Right, yeah.
They called it advance. Was it 9 million? Whatever million.
I want to say 11 million. I thought it was 11.
I thought it was 15.
It could be.
But anyway, the key thing was they called it advance tax payments.
Yeah.
Well, if it was advance, if it was tax money,
paying interest,
then why did you pay 6% interest on it? And the first payment to industry for the $15 million and whatever it was, the first payment was $950,000. That was just the interest.
Right.
Now watch this. I'm gonna let you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now watch this. Now they had to pay that 6% interest. Meanwhile, that was not one dime. They don't take my word for it. Call John Como and ask it. That was not a dime in the equipment replacement fund.
I know this story. Yeah, because it goes back to when I used to work with the trade.
Yeah, it was not a dime in that. And that's call John Como. You said the manager.
Yeah.
And John Como will tell you they spent. I couldn't believe it. They didn't have any money to buy new equipment because they was paying interest on this borrowed money from industry, which was crazy.
Yeah.
They could have bought that $950,000. They could have bought 3 trash trucks or 3 garbage trucks.
Right.
$950,000.
And that because we have poor and corrupt council members on the council, and we have one not experienced or corrupt. If you don't have experience, you don't know to catch it. You thinking it's right.
Well,
if you're corrupt, but that time it was actually corrupt.
Well,
cutting deals.
See, let me share this with you.
Right.
You can sell out by knowing. You can also sell out by not knowing.
Right, playing stupid.
Just inexperienced.
Just not
inexperienced. I mean, I don't particularly care for those choice of words.
Right. I do.
But that's you. That's you. Okay. You can sell out by not knowing, and you can sell out. Just lack of knowledge, man, lack of experience, and they'll get you.
Yeah.
They will get you. The staff will get you, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they got an emergency, if they can get it by you without the publicity.
Right.
For example, I got a phone call one time. The seawall had ruptured. The water was coming through the seawall right there in the Stillwater, at the end of the Queen. Well, Stephen Moser just got on board, on council. He called me and told me that Mike Dugan just got here, was authorizing a study to be done without coming to the council.
Right. Wow.
So I said, what? I said, well, how much is it? He said, I don't know, but it's greater than 75. I said, no. He can't. I said, it was greater than, it said $75,000. I said, you kidding me?
Yeah.
He can only write a check for $25,000.
I thought it was $5,000 back then.
Well, we
probably
moved
got
it.
him.
We moved it
yeah,
to help.
moved it up.
Yeah, we had to move it, man. Cause the cost of stuff we got.
Yeah,
we
right,
We
getting
moved
way
to
up there.
15,000. We moved to 25.
Okay.
But man, guess what, man?
What's that?
I called the city manager up and asked him. He said, I authorized it. I said, well, how much is it? 25. He said, no, 75,000. I said, you want to lose your job? You just got here. You want to lose your job? Well, the city attorney told me I could do it. I said, I don't care what the city attorney told you. You know you got a limit of $25,000. I said, if you write a check for $75,000, you just got here. You just may get fired. So he put it on the agenda. Guess how much money we end up spending?
How much?
$500,000.
Wow. Off of something that initially costed $75,000.
No, the study.
The study, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The study was $75,000.
Oh, okay.
Just to study, to plan it, what to do, and how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So the actual money was $500,000.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I'm glad you brought up that point, right? Even though the charter says that a city manager can only spend $25,000, you may get some bad information from a city attorney and say, hey, you can go ahead and do it, but you need to be a council person to understand it and to be able to check the city attorney, check the city manager,
Right.
check the city secretary if they're doing something wrong. And a lot of times they give a lot of misinformation.
Stop right there. Example. I'm glad you brought that point up.
Yes, sir.
City manager has spent X amount of dollars. And I said, how much money you spent so far? He said, $105,000. I said, now wait a minute. I said, hold on a minute. I said, wait a minute. You done spent $105,000? Council has not been out. I said, I didn't approve that. He said, well, I said, how did you get to $105,000? Well, I said, you wrote $25,000 intervals. You wrote 4 checks.
Right.
I said, you can't do that.
Right.
It's $5,000, not the aggregate. I mean, it is the aggregate. You get I don't care if you write 3,000 and 4,000, 5,000. When you hit 25,000, you shut it down.
Yeah, and you got to.
You kept on going to 105,000.
Right, you got to bring that to the council.
You got to bring it to the council.
And there's checks and balances in there. That needs to be preserved.
You got to preserve that, man. It's checks and balances.
But if you don't know,
If you don't have the experience,
or if you're learning,
yeah, they'll get you.
now if you're learning, who telling you what's right and what's wrong?
And city managers want things to go smooth.
Right.
So if
right.
they can get around the council,
Yeah.
and they probably can't justify what they want to do.
Yeah, they'll just get around it. You have a lot of people listen. Well,
If they can move it from one department to another, a line item,
Yeah.
they'll go that route. But it's fine for you to go line item, but you better not move from one department to another.
Right.
You can't do it.
And that's a lot of problem. A lot of people like to get council members that's new, don't know anything, so they can slide things by them.
Oh, yeah.
Or teach them the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
So, we have to be cognizant of that. We as citizens need to understand that.
Right.
There's a lot of corruption going on. So we don't have time to train about 10 new council members all at once.
Man, yeah.
You need to have a bona fide council member with actual history and knowledge. And that's you, Willie Bay Lewis. Yeah. But to me, it's still crazy that why this is even a race right now. Somebody that doesn't have an experience going against a veteran that had the most change in council, including with the Civil Rights Act. I still have to remind people how the magnitude of that, So
we spent 4 years in the federal courts behind that, winning that case.
Yeah.
They spent $532,000. I've already mentioned that $532,000, and we spent $20,000 and defeated them.
Right. So
that tells you the Lord was in charge.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He definitely was in
If
charge.
we could have matched the money for money, then we'd have thought we did it.
Right. Yeah.
But they spent $532,000. We spent $20,000.
Right.
And we was able to raise, and
It was definitely something spiritual and a higher power on our side on that
That's
one.
right. Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to go ahead and go back to this another little skip. And Mr. Marks also talks about office space and what he considers office hours. I kind of really want you to
office hours.
Yeah, office hours as a council member. Let's listen.
We're working on things.
I actually asked that question
That's a good question.
last week. There's no office for the city council. There's an open area similar to about the size of this garage space. There are several desks in there. There's a mailbox where the city council people will get their official mail, we will be issued a laptop or a tablet. We will be issued a cell phone, and we will have access to some resources there in City Hall. But we don't have an office. So office hours or whatever the city council person determines that they're going to be. So or however they establish. You know, it may be
Right,
okay.
that's understandable.
Once I get situated, my office hours may be 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. You can expect that I'm going to be at City Hall. If you need to come by, we can actually set up a time so that you won't have to wait for me to see me in HEB or in Market Basket, or you won't have to try to call me at 10 o'clock at night. Okay, his office hours is such and such. If it's not an emergency situation, then I need to communicate with him during that time. And I would think that would make it easier for me and easier for the constituents, because then now you got a solid structure as to what kind of, if Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I can get them at this time.
Right. That's good. I see that.
That was it.
Well, first of all, I want to.
Okay, yeah. Well, well, as a council person, do you have office hours 3 days a week with 10 to 2? What those office hours sound like to you, Ms. Lewis?
That wouldn't work for me. that wouldn't work for me. It may work for him, but it wouldn't work for me. Let me explain to you why.
Yeah.
Wherever the situation comes up at, it could be on the phone at my house, or I have to come where you are. I never had any. My office hours were floating, in my car, get in my truck, come to where you at, see what the situation is about. No, you'll never find me in the office.
Right, and again, I want to get people to understand.
That doesn't work for me.
Right, and you have to understand, this is not an office type job where you calling council because you have some type of problem. Now, I'm going to have to wait to see you 3 days between 10 and 2. What if it's like, if you say Monday through Wednesday, what if it's like Thursday, or Wednesday at 4 o'clock, what do I have to do then? So, so I don't think a lot of these people really understand what it takes to be a council member and how much time does this take, man. It takes a lot of time, and he happened to know it, but, man, speak on the point that a lot of people think you can handle this by the office, you can do this through emails, and I'm going to get to it later. This person that think that a lot of the main communications through email. But tell me, man, you have to go out to these people You can't just sit behind the office and just talk to them on the phone to death,
Well, he's new.
Yeah.
He'll find out.
But that's him being new.
Yeah,
Again, you want to get a new person.
He got to find out what works for him.
Well, it's too late. He's already in there now. So
no, I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
He's in office.
Right.
He's going to have to find out what works.
Right.
And that's going to take time.
Right. It's going to take time. But as a citizen, you need to do a better job of qualifying, because understand, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get somebody that think is going to have some office time, and you can only come here through this and that. But when people that's been in here know, you don't even have to be on council. You're just running around dealing with council members, talking to them, helping them on campaign, just doing a lot of things through council members, right? You will know that this is not no 9 to 5, no office hours where you can only call your District 1 person at this. Heck, if that's the case, I'll call an at-large person. You know what I mean? So
Well, you're supposed to be able to call anybody that you vote on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Call anybody.
Anybody that you vote on, you're supposed to call. Yeah. And for a long time, things that got so hectic, I couldn't even go to the grocery store. Because people had problems.
Right.
I'll never forget one time I was.
That's your job,
That's your job. A lady walked up to me. I stopped by the store to get something. HEB on Gulfway, and I stopped by to get something. And the lady said, Councilman, can I talk with you? I said, yeah, no problem. And I was dealing with, I really wasn't paying attention. I was dealing with her, what our issue was, and how for her to handle it. And when I finished with her, it had a line.
Right.
Had a line of people waiting to want to talk to me with issues. So your office is where they run across you.
Right,
yeah.
right. You have to understand, man, for the people, this is more of a servant position.
It's a servant position.
You have to serve the people. You know, you have to be supervisory towards the council, the budget, the city actions, how they do money, departments. But you have to be a servant to the people.
Right. And the city, Mike Dugal told me one time, he said, why are you talking to city employees? I said, wait a minute, first of all, what are you talking about? I used to go out to the barn out there and campaign before they go to work. Bring them donuts and talk to them. He said, why are you talking to city employees? I said, let me tell you one thing. I ain't gonna repeat what I told him. Okay?
Yeah.
I said, let me tell you something. City employees, they vote.
Right.
I said, city employees can come to me anytime they want to on their own time.
Right.
Okay? Now, when they're on the job, after they get off work,
they're
just another citizen with an issue.
Absolutely.
And if it's the job, and I find out that your policy done been violated, you're going to have a problem. Yeah.
Now, now, the thing is, you may get a new council member, right? Think because a person is a city employee that they can't talk to them.
Oh, yes, they can. Yeah.
But the new person, well, you're a city employee, and I have to go to the city manager first. They wouldn't put that two and two together.
Right.
In their mind, they'll think like it's a city employee forever. You know. So
when when that city employee is off, that's your time. You talk to, you can call, get on, you talk to who you want to.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
Right. And I've had to, not more than one city manager I had to rip up and down about that. I said, city employees, they vote.
Right, and
they got problems just like everybody. They got streets, drainage, housing, all kinds of problems, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Their life don't stop. I said, now when they on the job, it's a different thing.
Right, different story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing I found out that a lot of city employees didn't know, and I said when Harvey Robinson did it, Harvey made sure a lot of citizens wants to go to a lot of city employees wants to go to human resource about an issue. They go tell their boss. They go ask their boss. I said, you don't have to go do that.
Right, yeah.
You want to go, you got an issue.
Open door, yeah.
Human resources is an open door. You go straight to human resource. You ain't got to tell
nobody.
There ain't no chain of command.
Yeah.
They let them believe there's a chain of command. You got to go through the chain. No, you don't.
Yeah, no.
A city employee, if you got a problem, you go straight to human resource.
Yeah.
If you think you got some things in your personnel file that shouldn't be there, you go to human resource.
Absolutely, and that comes too.
You ain't got to get nobody permission.
With knowledge, you know, a person new. A lot of times they're more submissive, want to listen, don't want to cause no problems, and just go along to get along. Where you forget actual EEO policy, so to speak, just general HR policy. You know what I mean? It's a general and open door situation, and ideally you really shouldn't be retaliated on because you're going to HR for a human resource issue. That's pretty much most of the common knowledge.
For development. The employee may be wrong about what it, but then you help them to show them that's not the way you handle it. No, now you got a better employee.
Right, there you go. Absolutely. You know, then you didn't have to really. Then they can feel safe to talking about it. May be wrong. Okay, they cleared that out without getting a supervisor in there. The supervisor looking at them funny. They mad and everything like that. So. Okay, cool. That was pretty much all the comments I got from Mr. Marks. And, you know, again, he's already in there. So this is an example. See, now, he didn't say all of those things campaigning. So you need to understand. He didn't say, hey, it's going to take some time. We go get back to you in a couple of days. The citizens need to understand I'm new. He didn't say all of that doing campaigning. None of them going to tell you all that through campaigning. But now, since he's in here the first seat, he's telling, hey, y'all got to be tolerant. It's going to take me a while. I'm just learning. Couple of days. I got some office hours. I'm still trying to figure this out. None of that was advertised. Isn't that funny? We don't hear none of that during the campaign or how you're going to handle it. But hey, a fresh new person, fresh idea, but we don't know how to qualify candidates better. So yeah, going on.
Well, he basically got caught by surprise because Deuce said just up and quit.
Right, yeah.
So it was not like he's gonna have to groom somebody.
Right, yeah,
Or he had prior knowledge that he just he up and quit. He just got
Right.
fed up with it, you know. And
Yeah,
I can understand. Yeah, when if you don't enjoy what you're doing anymore, it's
Yeah,
time
you got to go. Yeah, I can't. I just like
take
some-
a break. Take a break.
Something that he used to say, right? I think he used to say it.
Yeah.
I can't get these people to, if they don't want to come serve on their own, you can't force them to serve. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Just say.
I left the council when I left the council. Deucet was, you can have 50 to 60 or 70 items on the consent
Yeah.
agenda. Okay. Deucet. I normally pull some hot items and
Right.
discuss them. Deucet will pull some items. Look here, man. You had all these items on there. It was important. Deucet pulled a few items. He pulled a few items off of that, and some more items need to be pulled. He just didn't want to be bogging and be the only
Yeah.
one. So he pulled some items off, and he expected some of the other council members to pull some items.
Yeah, they didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
No, watch this. He said, I'm like, he said, I pulled the items, and they went ahead and approved every darn thing else. And he said, babe, I looked around and said, what the hell am I doing down here?
Yeah.
Why am I here? He said, I'm the only one here that cares.
And now to go ahead and explain that or break that down in more detail,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you have everything on the consent agenda, or most of the agendas, right? Everything you're going to pull a lot of stuff off the consent agenda.
Because you be spending a lot of money.
Yeah, you got it's a lot of items on the consent agenda. So you have to pull things to talk about to get a better understanding
Right.
of it.
You can either approve of all that in one motion.
One motion.
Or if you want to pull some items and talk about it,
So, yeah.
I don't like this.
Hey,
let's
this looks
let's
funny.
talk about this.
Right.
Yeah, let's get them more. Let's
discussion
get some
on it.
background information.
Yeah,
on it.
let's get a background on information. So what would happen is a lot of people, you want to hide stuff, they don't want to pull it.
They pull it. That's right.
Or if they don't know it, they don't pull it. So
It don't get pulled. They
You,
don't know.
you get a lot of people on there. Say, for instance, right? Hypothetically, I'm trying to sell the city some component to put in the ground. This is going to make the ground stronger. This is going to make the ground harder.
Or you may have change orders on this
Yeah,
consent agenda.
change all. Yeah, right,
Change orders.
Right.
They may be legit. They may not be.
right. Change order is I put in I was supposed to do a job for 30 days.
Yeah.
Something happened. Well, that 30-day job got to take 60 days now.
Well,
45
here's the deal. And I didn't mind giving them extra days,
Yeah.
but don't ask me for no more money.
Right. Yeah, they'll put the extra days, but they'll put, hey, the cost is going to go up too. Wink, wink.
Right. Oh no.
Right. So, well, I'm out here working more, but I need some more money.
Yeah. No.
And then a lot of people used to do that a lot of times.
Oh, they did it all the
They'll
time.
underbid a certain project.
It's called
come
lowballing.
in,
That's called lowballing.
lowball it. Now I got the project. Now, we came into a snag.
A snag.
And I need to put a change in order. It's gonna cost the extra $25,000.
Yeah.
And a little more time to it. We
Yeah.
just something we didn't see. Well, how you didn't see that?
Unforeseen.
Right, unforeseen would a lot of us be bull crap.
And
So you need
they lowball that bid.
a council person to be able to pull that item.
Right.
Call that city manager. Hey, Mr. Manager, what's going on right here?
Right, and then-
Why they asking for another $25,000?
He gonna point out and call that staff or get up here.
Yeah, they go call what streets department. Hey, come on, Public Works.
And
here.
he better have some answers.
like Ross Blackett. Hey, come on
yeah.
over here, Ross Blackett of Public Works. He gone now. Come on down here.
You said that question. That guy one night that from his screw up. That guy was screwed up so bad.
Oh, I meant y'all got him.
Look
Oh,
here, man.
y'all
I
told
looked
him
at that man. That man looked like he's about to have a heart attack.
Oh yeah.
So
yes.
I put my light up. I wasn't. I thought he gonna pass out.
Yeah.
Dude said that and expose it.
Yeah.
Dude
Told
said
him.
it expose it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that bogus stuff he had in there.
Right, with the
Yeah.
trash trucks, man, like all that stuff.
And
man.
then sent a doggone trucks back to put a joystick on the doggone
Yeah.
Cosmo, man. What kind
Yeah, I
of
remember crazy stuff we wasting money on, but you
Yeah.
have to know there's stuff to catch it because all this dumb stuff that department heads will come through, they'll try to push it through the manager.
Right.
He may let it go through, not looking at it because he got a million other things, or he may do look at it,
it may get by him.
make it by him. or he may be in on it, either one. But you need to be the steward of the citizens' money.
Right.
Go ahead and be able to find those things and be able to handle it off the top.
Right.
Now, you should be able to be. Now, look, the average citizen, you don't have to be a council member. You just have to care about this. Just go to council meetings and look at this. You can call this. You can go look at council meetings. See, said pull something. Bay Lewis pull something. Stephen Moser pull something. Scott pull something. Hey, Scott, why did you do this? Mr. Lewis, why did you do this? And so on and so on. That's how you get the knowledge of what's going on. And then people start talking to you more. They start talking to Mosley more. Heck, you even talk to Derek Freeman. Then you end up finding out somebody like
That's right.
You know, you see some council members are for the right thing. Some council members are bullcrapping. You know what I mean?
We call them. What I call them? Wheat. They tares.
They're tares in the wheat, huh? They don't have no wheat.
Wheat is the good people. It's the good councilman.
Right.
Yeah.
The tares are the ones that just look like the good councilman,
They
but
look like
nothing.
the good councilman.
They don't pull no product, no wheat.
And just watch how they behave.
Yeah. So, you know, you can do this as a citizen, man. If everybody done that, we would be able to keep up with it. But now, hey, look, this is what we have to do. We have to elect the right people in there for this, man. This is no game.
Yeah.
This is no learning time. This is no time to play school. Let me go ahead on and go back into the call. This is one thing with Mrs. Holmes talking about. Now, this is about the emails. For some reason, it look like the email is probably the main contact she think people's going to contact about this position. I don't know where to get up for this. Oh, and the audio is kind of janky a little bit. This is something been going on with the Real Talk files. The audio is kind of in and out there, so I'm letting you know there's nothing on the Revolution podcast side. It's on the Real Talks file. So let me go ahead and start this.
And guess what? We're not being the public. This is what, remember this word I just said. The public.
Yeah, I know.
It's not accessible to them. Are we going to have any problem once you all?
Basically, the council is not accessible.
I am, if elected at any point, I am a representative of the people. I don't represent anybody but the people and the views and the thoughts of the people. Now, I have to take what the people say and bring it to city council, to other city council members. And the only way that I can represent the people is for them to be able to talk to me and to call me and to hit me up on Facebook or to, send me an email. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's
answering emails because I didn't send some emails to council people and I haven't got answers yet.
Well, the one thing, let me say this about me. I have a lot of emails, but you know what? If I were a city council member, I'd have a separate email address. So I would check that email address every day. Now and if you need me urgently, I'll have a phone number where you can reach me for that.
Right.
So I would be accessible.
Do you feel me? That's the word I use. That's the word I use. Accessible. Because you're in my district, okay?
Right, I am.
And as you know, I've been going out. And some of the people tell me that they didn't even know what city council was. So that's the reason why they don't go out and vote. This is the point that I'm saying. And I know you do this, and everybody, I'm not just saying this. I know that she will stand on the corner and give out a call.
Hey, I apologize. I'm cutting that kind of short. It was too bad. Audio was too bad. It was on Lynn Freeman's side. I'll get on that later. But basically, what the main point of that, both of them think the main contact for a council person would be the email. How many calls you got on email?
Look, email is not a contact.
Right.
You pick up the phone, call me.
Yes.
I'll have a cell phone, and that's a taxpayer cell phone. And you use that cell phone, and you give me an email, Man, you know how many emails you get in the course of a day?
Man, look,
And how much time you can waste?
and District 1, West Side, you have a lot of elderly people in District 1. They don't know nothing about email.
No email? No, they don't. No, they'll call me on the phone.
But this is a new council person, right?
That's
don't know what it's really like to be, in my opinion, don't know what it's really like to be a council person. Don't really understand the time that it takes to do this, and email is not a doggone.
That is not a contact.
Main type of contact. You know what I mean?
I don't consider email a contact.
Say, for instance, a person don't know how to set up the email on their phone.
Why should
they going out somebody? They have to wait till they get to the computer. Come on, man.
You just made a point. Why should they have to go buy a computer to send an email?
Right, right. Or they get a laptop.
A laptop.
Yeah. Don't y'all get a laptop, an iPad?
Oh, we get all that stuff.
But still, you may not keep all of that because you might lose it or something.
Well,
you have it at home or whatever, but still.
I don't consider an email a contact. I may look at them, but man, you get hundreds of things.
Right. Yes.
No, if you got an important issue, you text me or call me.
Right. And
the texting is the quickest way to do it.
And that's people, when you get new people that don't have a clue on what this job entails, this is what you're going to get.
And wait a minute, and contacting somebody on Facebook?
Yeah.
That's not a contact.
Right, but that's a little bit more reliable than email.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, because people be on there. If you're on there,
if you spend a whole bunch of time on,
if you're on Facebook, but a lot of people may have a profile.
You got to be careful on commenting on Facebook, or it takes a life of its own.
Yeah, absolutely. But that I say Facebook is safe for people that know that can verifiably be on there. But people like you're not on there a lot of times.
No.
You're not going to get that information.
Oh, I don't mean I monitor.
Yeah, you may monitor
them, but I ain't gonna comment.
Right, absolutely. And then a lot of people, like my mom, she know how to use Facebook, but not really with the Messenger thing, because the Messenger app, it takes a life of its own too, and you get a lot of spam messages, people trying to access your information off there. So a lot of people not going to go ahead and find that. So the best reliable means of communication should be the phone. They should have right. They should be talking about the phone is the primary type of way to contact.
And my what we call it, my voicemail fills up so fast.
Yeah.
Not only from people with new messages, you got people who call you back and leave a message again. Out of 10 voicemails.
Right.
So what I do, I just leave it full.
Yeah.
So if you want, you have to call. You got to
call me.
You got to call me back.
Right. They have to get you.
I'll catch it at some point in time and see why I missed the call.
Right.
But that voicemail fill up so quick.
Yeah.
I've had people to call me back. Babe, call me.
Yeah.
And I be going through all of them and eliminating all that. That's one person that called me 3 or 4 times within 15 minutes. They called me.
Yeah. Don't know what the problem is.
No, I still don't know.
Yeah, don't know because if it was something important, you'd say, you leave a message,
You leave a message. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So,
and 9 out of 10 times when I finally do catch that, when it's something important.
Right.
But they won't.
Exactly. So we got to do our own time in contacting the people, right?
And sitting in. I've never went down there and sit at City Hall.
Yeah, in the office. Yeah, we got office space. Come meet me a time, man.
I go there, look at my desk, my inbox and stuff, and get all my stuff. I go read it.
That's these new council people. But District 1, you better be aware. District 4, everybody, you better be aware. District 8 too, the whole city. Mm-hmm. I mean, position 8. You better be aware. You got Scott and the pastor. Scott has been in position 1, so he know how to serve the city. So you make your own.
So Scott got the experience and everything.
Man, look, you make your own,
and he's already on the ground running.
Yeah. You don't need somebody another one. Ooh, it's hard. Yeah, it's sad. It's depressing thinking about it. Now, you kind of answered this a little bit earlier.